So you did your software update and now you have all the Mighty Hoops preset on your machine. The only problem is that you don't know how to center them and how to set them up. Don't worry, that's why I'm making this video today, is to teach you how to do just that. Welcome back to Embroidery Knowledge with Willy. Let's get started.
We the best! Yeah. We taking over!
Now guys, before I get started, I want to make sure that you understand this. Every machine has a different X and Y center, so please do not copy what the numbers that I'm going to be inputting. Make sure you follow each step the way I'm showing you and you figure out the center points on your own machine. So you got it? Okay, good. Now let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to need is a sheet of stabilizer. I'd much rather just use one sheet of stabilizer because you get to see the puncturing of the holes when we're checking for the center. The next thing that we're going to need is either a ruler or something that has a straight flat side, or even something like this over here, which is what comes with your Mighty Hoop kit. As long as it has this long flat side that's straight, we should be fine. Now we're definitely going to need our Mighty Hoop as well. I just recommend to use the smallest one that you own just because it makes life a whole lot easier. And the last thing we're gonna need is going to be a pen or a pencil to be able to mark the stabilizer and the center of the hoop. All right, so now that we know the materials that we're going to be using, the next step is to set up your machine for flats. So if you have the cap driver on, make sure you change it over to your regular flat bracket arms. If by any chance you don't know how to do this the proper way, don't worry, there's a video in the link below that you can watch right now before you finish this video. All right guys, now the next step is very simple. We are going to find the center of your Mighty Hoop. So let's go ahead and hoop the stabilizer, and we're going to be using the ruler to find the center of the X and the Y. So your X would be side to side and the Y would be up and down. Now you're going to notice that every Mighty Hoop has a circle on the center of each side. That circle is telling you the exact center of that side. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using the ruler and we're going to be centering it from both sides on the X and the Y. And once we do that, we're going to use our pen or pencil and we're going to mark a line so it can make a cross. And once you have that cross, that will show you the center of the hoop. All right, so let's go ahead and put the bottom of the hoop. Then we're gonna put our stabilizer. And we can close these here just to hold it in place. There's also one on the bottom. If you want to use it, you can. It's not necessary. Then we're going to grab the top of the hoop, U-shape facing top right. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to grab my ruler and my pen and I'm going to mark the center. Take your time with this and try to mark the center as best as you can. Okay, now we have our center point, so let's go ahead and put the hoop in the machine and go into the panel. Let's go. Now for this part, you can use whichever needle you're on, or if you want to just be a little bit more cautious, you could just go to needle number 1 like I did, because that is the tracing needle anyways. Just make sure that you take the thread out of the needle. All right guys, so now that we're on the panel, the first thing we're going to do is go over our frame button and we're going to go to the regular hoops and we're going to select the smallest of the regular hoops. In this case, it should be C6. Even if it's already pre-selected, just make sure that you select it again. And we're gonna press OK because we have taken off the cap driver. And the reason why we're doing this is to get the hoop closest to the center, so when we do make the adjustment, we don't have to do too much. It'll be just minor adjustments to get it perfectly in the center. Okay, now we're gonna close this page and we're gonna open our settings. Then we're gonna go over to parameters and we're going to go over to frame. Now let me explain this page to you. Here we have the name of the hoops. Then over on the top, we have the X center, the Y center, the X size, the Y size, and the corner radius. Okay, so since we chose hoop C6, C6 has an X center of 85 and a Y center of 10. So now let's go back over to the physical hoop to see if it's really centered or not. And yes, I know we are using the Mighty Hoop to center it instead of the original C6 hoop, but that's okay because it should be the same center points. So let's go ahead and close this page and close this page so we go back to our main page. Now we're going to use the manual trim button so that it can puncture the stabilizer, and we're going to see where the hole lands. Let's go ahead and mark the punctured hole that the needle made so it could be a little bit more visual. Now we're obviously way off from both the Y center, which is this one right here, and the X center, which is this one right here. Now to be able to get the needle to sit right on top of this cross, we're going to need to move the Y axis away from us and the X axis over to the left. So now let's go back to the panel so that we can adjust these numbers. Let's go back to settings, parameters, and frame. I would need to change the X center number from 85 to a higher number because a higher number will move the hoop over to the left and a lower number would move the hoop over to the right. Now for the Y center, a higher number than this would move the hoop closer towards us. In my case, I would need the hoop to be pushed away from me. So I would need to do a lower number than this one here. So I'm going to be changing these numbers just a little. I don't want to overdo it. So instead of 85, I'm going to put 90. And instead of 10, I'm going to put 5. So I'm just going over by increments of 5. It's up to you if you want to go by 5 or 10, but that number will start getting lower the closer we start getting to the center point. So let's go ahead and select save, and we're going to go back to our main page. And in our main page, we're going to reselect the frame hoop, and we're going to reselect the same hoop, C6. Going to press OK, and now the machine will recalibrate itself to the new center point we input. Now let's go back to the hoop and select the manual trim once more. Okay, so now as you can see, we're getting closer to the center point. Now we are a lot closer on the Y than the X. So for the X center, I'm going to do another increment of 5. And for the Y center, I'm going to go by 10. So now let's go back to the panel, select settings, parameters, frame. So I'm going to change the X center by 5. So we'll be putting it at 95. And the Y center, I'm going to put it at -5. To do this, you want to put the number first and then the plus and negative sign to be able to get a negative in front of the number. Now we're going to press OK. We're going to save. And we're going back to our home screen where we can reselect the same C6 hoop. Okay, let's go ahead and close and select the trim. All right, so it looks like we're good on the X size because it landed right on this line. And I overdid the Y center, so I'm just going to quickly adjust it. Change it over to 0 instead of -5. And let's see how this looks. And perfect. Okay guys, now we've figured out the hardest part of this process. Now let's do the easy part. Let's go back over to settings, parameters, frame. And now we can change the rest of the regular hoops X and Y center to our original center that we just found. But we could do that later. Now let's go over to the Mighty Hoop tab. So now let's go over to the hoop that I currently have on my machine, which is the 5.5 by 5.5. And we're going to input the X center and the Y center. If you forget it, you could always go back and see C6 95 by 0. So I have X95, Y0. Now for the X size and the Y size is actually very simple. We're going to convert the 5.5, which is in inches, over to millimeters. So 5.5 is 140. So we're going to insert 140 by 140. Okay, so let's go over to the R, which is the corner radius. Every mighty hoop is going to have a corner radius of 25. So we're going to select 25, and that's it. Now this is the best part. I also have an 11 by 13 mighty hoop. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this one in as well. So our X center is going to be 95. Our Y center is going to be 0. And our X size would be the 13. So 13 in millimeters would be 330. And the 11, which is the Y size, would be 280. And yes, I did round these numbers off as well. So now the radius is going to be 25, and that is it. Now don't forget to select save. Once you hear the 2 beeps, you can go ahead and close and go back to your home screen and reselect the hoop size that you're going to be using. And now they should all be centered. And that's it, guys. Now all you have to do is the same process for the rest of the mighty hoops that you own. And remember that you could do the same thing to your regular hoops to be able to center them, and you can also follow the same process for all the extra hoops that are not regular or mighty hoops that you want to add to your machine. Now if you guys want to learn how to center your cap driver, which is a little different, let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to do that for you. Now remember, with PrintDirect US you have lifetime US training and technical support, and if you need us to go to your location and train you and your staff, we could do that as well. All right, everyone, I hope this video was helpful. And if you did like the video and it helped you, make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any future videos that we make. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.
Spread out with it. South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, on to North Carolina, Philadelphia, Virginia. From down in Miami, where it's warm in the winter, on up to Minnesota.